afternoon, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of Collaboration Week. My name is Joseph Lanzalata, and I manage the Student Entrepreneurship Program for Tangent, Trinity's Ideas Workspace, as you see above me on the website. On the Tangent website, if you haven't already heard, you can join as a Trinity student Tangent Online, which is an open Blackboard module with resources for innovators, or you can jump over to our Tangent mailing list. If you're not a Trinity student, there we send out a monthly newsletter to let you know what's going on in Tangent and the innovation community. So for today, we are following on from yesterday's session, which was about kind of trends and things that are happening in terms of collaboration broadly, and some tips for collaborating for startups. Now today we are taking the track of looking at some tools for collaboration. So today I'm not sure exactly how short or long it's going to be, but essentially I am going to walk us through some of the tools that I have used in the past and tools that I think are particularly useful for collaboration in early stage startups. By no means is this an exhaustive list. You can go online and find loads more, and we are not necessarily promoting any specific tools. However, I have found ones that are out there that are free, because typically I work with students and their budget is minimal, so I am looking for free tools that can help student innovators. So, following on from yesterday, one of the major challenges that we run into when we are developing new ideas is there are a lot of conversations that happen, and keeping track of those conversations can be particularly challenging if you have a one-to-one mentorship meeting, or if you're sitting down with your team and you're going over ideas. Trying to take minutes, if it's not like a formal organization where you have a process for taking minutes and keeping them organized and there's a designated person, can be challenging. And even for organizations, it can be challenging. And I had touched on that yesterday, so I wanted to first highlight one tool, which is a voice-to-text tool. Now, there are a lot of them that are out there. This is just the simplest one that I've been able to find. If anybody has a recommendation for another one, put it in the comments of this video, and I'm happy to share it out. But the one that I'm looking at is called Speech Notes. Just here you see Speech Notes. This is the landing page. I will put the link to it in the chat section. If you're watching this in a recording, what you can do is go to the description of the video. I will have put all of the links that I'm sharing today into the description. But when you go to Speech Notes, this is the page that you're visited with, and it's very straightforward to use. It's kind of intuitive, but the way that I would see this working is if you are having a meeting with your team and you want to make sure that you're keeping track of everything that was said, or if a new idea comes up, you have a really easy way to keep track of it through essentially a dictaphone. So you speak and it will have it all typed out, and then maybe you can play with it afterwards, or at least pull out the valuable bits from it at the end. So I'm just going to show you quickly how it works. So all you have to do is press the little microphone here. When you press the microphone, it starts to recognize what you are saying. So as you can see right now, it is typing everything that I am saying, and as soon as I stop talking, what will happen is it's going to put it into the text box just below. Period. So, as you guys can see, it has typed exactly what I had said there. It is pretty straightforward. Now, another cool thing is that, say, okay, that was one idea, I want to say another one, you can type. So I'm hitting enter here, just go on my keyboard, going down, and then I want to say something else. I hit the microphone again, and when I hit the microphone again, it starts to record what I'm saying, and it can put that down into a new paragraph. Period. The one thing that you don't want to say is new paragraph, because what it does is creates a new paragraph. So you guys get the idea of how this works. I'm not going to go on anymore with that, but the coolest thing is at the end of the tool, once you're done, say you have all of these notes from the meeting, if you would like to save it somewhere, all you do is click the little copy to clipboard in the bottom right here. That will copy it to your clipboard, and you can paste it anywhere in your notes section, or if you have a place where you are going to store your meeting notes. Which brings me to the second tool that I would like to go through today. Storing documents between a team can often be kind of challenging, especially when you're a small team and don't have an established system for it. One thing that I recommend to a lot of Trinity students, because Trinity College does provide all of their students with a Gmail email, all Trinity students have access to Google Drive. Google Drive, for anyone who hasn't seen it before, I'll just click here. This is the primary Google Drive site. I'm not going to open my specific Google Drive, but this is a place where you would be able to store any documents that you have. I'm just going to take a second. I see, Colin, you mentioned something there. Record a session, conversation between... If you recorded a session, say a conversation between you and a mentor, how good is it for conversations or potentially low audio? Now, Colin, I haven't tested it in a back and forth to see exactly how good it is going to work with specific people. This is just the free tool. Colin's talking about the speech notes. This is just a free tool that I have begun to use myself and I have tried before in a basic setting. However, I would recommend it's just an example. You can have a look at this as something to try, but there are, if it is something that you really want to apply and use, you can use it down, have a look at what else is out there, because there are a lot of options. What I would say, as you saw there, it does capture your voice pretty well, so it is a really good option for that. I'm going to keep going into Google Drive. So Google Drive for Trinity students is available. You are able to store all of your documents on there. You can create a folder and use it as a space to upload your meeting notes that you may have just recorded, or you can store Word documents or whatever it is that you want to work collaboratively on with other people. Now this changes the game, because in order to work effectively with teams, especially in a situation where you might not always be in the same physical space, having a digital document that you can put edits on and work together across is really valuable in this setting. So my recommendation is Google Drive. However, there are other things. Dropbox is a storage place as well, or if you're a part of the Microsoft suite, you are able to do that. The only reason I mentioned this one specifically is because Trinity students have a Gmail, so they would have access to this off the top of day one. So the next thing I want to go into, you have down now how to take notes on your meetings. What you talk about is recorded. You have a place to store them. The next thing that you might need to do is work with your team on different things. So while Google Drive is really good for storing things and documents and working on them actively, in terms of setting up your task management, there are a lot of other tools that are out there that might work well for you. And the end game of this is that you guys will find what is the best combination of tools, or the best tool individually that works for you and your group of people that you're working with, be it on a startup or whatever it is that you would like to do. And Colin has just said that, yes, the TCD email, you are told that ours is forever, even when we are a student. Does that also apply to the Google Drive space, and how much space do TCD students have? A good question. I'm glad you asked it, actually, because I can clarify. I know that as of the time of recording this video, because obviously this will be saved afterward, the TCD email does last, as you said, beyond the time that you are a student. That does apply to your Google Drive space as well. There's no time at which they pull back the Google Drive space, from my understanding, on this day, today, which is May 6th, 2020. So as of today, that is the case. I would check back with the university specifically if you have questions in the future. So yeah, I was talking about Google Drive. The next thing is working with your team and task management. So just because you have a place to work doesn't mean that you necessarily have all the tasks organized. So one tool that I have used that I've gotten quite a bit of use out of is called Trello. Now Trello is an example of a project management tool. There are a lot of them out there, like Asana is another one, and you can find a long list of them. This is just the one I'm the most familiar with, so I've created a little mock session so you can see what it looks like here. You can see Trello at the top, and as I said before, all of the links to all of these will be in the description, or you can just search them. This is just a demonstration board, one way of laying this out, and in another video, in one of the entrepreneurial skills sessions, I have talked about how you might manage this a bit more detail when we went through the Techstars toolkit, so if you want to have a look back at that, do click across. But the way this one's organized is essentially a red, yellow, green. It's the stoplight system. There are a bunch of different systems you might be able to use, but I've just created three little pots to catch activities in. Red would be something that I need to do today, so I need to make a presentation for Tangent TV. Yellow would be something that's kind of like, if I can get to it, that's great. If I can't, that's okay. And then green would be something that's kind of like, okay, it's good, we have it, but we don't need to necessarily get to it right now. You can also do it the opposite, whatever way you want to do. The idea being that it helps you prioritize tasks, and this is something that you can use in a team. If you click the invite button here, you can put in the email of a team member, or you can create a link and just share that board with a team member. So this is your space to work on things. Now, say I wanted to create another thing here called done, so I can just know when I've completed things. It creates the other list, and when I'm done making my presentation, I just simply drag it over to done. So it makes it easy to see how things kind of work. Another thing I'll add here is, if I just look at the one I made here, when you open up one of the little subjects that you've made, you can put a more detailed description. You can also track activity, like comment on whether it's been done or it's partially done. You can attach things to it, or you can also add a checklist. So say you wanted to add a checklist that said these are the steps to getting this task done. You can tick off individual ones as you go. So it makes it a little bit easier to track progress with your team. So your team will see when you say something is done, and then you might be able to have a meeting about it. The last thing I'm going to point out is labels. I use labels so that it prompts conversations when I'm working with people. So if there is something, say making the presentation, I need to work with somebody on it, you can name the labels that you have here. So say I wanted to name the label, I usually name them as people who I need to talk to. So say green was Gavin. That's my boss, Gavin. So green is Gavin, and I wanted to label this as green. When I'm looking at my board later, say I'm at my board, if I'm about to go into a meeting with Gavin and I'm looking at my board, I know I look for anything that has a green dot on it, and that's what we should talk about. If I'm having a meeting with a number of people, I know what the things are that we should be looking over based on what I see on my Trello board. So it's just a really easy way to work with your team and know what the things are that are prioritized that you should be talking about. So if there's something that is green and in the red category, it means I need to talk to Gavin about this right now. If it's green and it's in the green category, it's good for us to talk to, but it may not be the top priority. So this is a way of collaborating through Trello where you can kind of organize and streamline and make more efficient your workflow with your team. So that is another tool. The next tool I want to go on to is in the space of team collaboration, but it's a bit more in depth. So I know many of you will have heard of Slack, which is a great tool that you can use for communicating with teams in different organized ways. So you may have different topics of conversation. But the tool that I'm going to show you guys today, mainly because it has a lot of free features that is really out there, it was designed for the video game community, but it is now getting some adoption in the business development space. I think it's potentially very useful. It was used for a startup weekend just 2 weeks ago, or it might have been 3 weeks ago at this stage. It is called Discord. So I don't know how many of you have heard of Discord before, but I'm just going to pull up a little Discord instance that I made here. This is what the app looks like. So it's an app you can download onto your computer and you operate through it, but it's a cloud-based system, so you're not storing loads of things on your computer. But the way it works is this is a template that I made. You'll see it's called Joseph Lanzalotta's Study Room. So I made a study room. They have all sorts of templates for how they lay things out, or you can build it from scratch if you would prefer. But there's a couple of things that I want to show. On the left here, we have information. So this is where you'd put welcome and rules. It kind of just explains what is in this channel. So what's the purpose of it? You'd have notes and resources where you can start taking notes for your channel. Say this is something where you wanted to track the notes that you took from your mentorship meetings. You can have a specific one. If I wanted to create another one, I can go here and say mentorship meetings. Go there, mentorship meetings, and then this is where I will put any conversations from the mentorship meetings, or we will talk about what happened in our mentorship meetings. Also, you can have text channels. So these are information. That just means things will be posted in them. Text channels, general, homework, session planning, off topic. These are all things that you could name the different types of discussions that you're going to have. Now, this tends to work really well when you have a variety of things that you talk to a lot of people about, which tends to be how startups work, where everybody has to know and be a part of the conversation of everything that's going on, but you may not want all of that to happen in the same place. So Discord or Slack, any of those could work for that for you. If you are looking to set this up, as I said, all the links will be in the description of the video down below, or you could just search Discord online and download it. It is all free. So that is why I'm showing it to you today. The last thing I'll say is that there are voice channels. So if you would like to just have a conversation via voice, you are able to have that conversation in this channel. Slack tends to be primarily text-based. This tends to be more, it leans more towards voice chat. So if you're more of a auditory auditory learner, or you're better at communicating verbally than by typing, this could be a really good solution for you to cut down on the number of emails you may be sending back and forth to your team. So that's Discord. I'm not going to go into too much more detail. If you'd like to look into it, by all means. The next tool I want to go to is... the next tool I want to go to, you have probably all heard of very recently. It is in the space of video conferencing. So there are a lot of things in the video conferencing space. There is Zoom, there is Microsoft Teams, even Discord does have a video conferencing ability. It's just not optimized. The one that I'm going to point out to you guys today is Zoom. You may have heard of Zoom before. It's been all over the news with the COVID-19. They are putting out offers for just about everybody, including universities in particular. So if you are looking to video conference somebody, let's say, you just sign up here. All that means is putting in an email, and you are able to very easily create virtual meetings with people where you just send them a link, they click that link, and they can join the call at the time that you would like to have. There's not too much more for me to say about this other than the fact that it is a very streamlined and simple video conferencing platform. So if you are working apart from people and you would like to video conference with them, this is an easy way to do it. So the last tool that I have for today, I know it's going quick because I'm not going to spend too much time going into every individual tool. I think I just want to point them out to you guys here, and then you can explore them on your own. If anybody has questions, you can reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to chat to you about how I've used these tools more in the past, or help you out with specific use cases. But in the case of no questions now, I'm going to go to the last one, which is, as you are developing a startup out, you're going to be talking to a lot of people. And when you talk to a lot of people, there may be, say, 3 people on your team when you're starting out. Each person may have different conversations with different people through email, through text, however you're communicating. And because of that, it can often get overwhelming to communicate all of the communications that are happening from your team. There is a specific tool, if you haven't heard of it before, it is called a CRM, or Customer Relationship Management tool. And one example of a CRM, as I said before, there are loads of them out there. You can have a look at them, but I'm showing you an option that I have found that has at least a decent free version. The one that I'm going to show you today is HubSpot. So I see Colin said that he has a couple of others he would recommend. If you want to put them in the comment section of this video afterwards, because the chat will not exist after, that would be wonderful. I'm happy that you're up for sharing. Or I'll just say I'm here. So Microsoft Teams is good. Yep, Microsoft Teams is great. The only thing is I don't think all of their free features are free, so that can be challenging. But for the sake of this video, I am going to continue on to the CRM. So HubSpot is one example of a CRM. What that does is it allows you to look at all of the marketing activities that you're doing if you're reaching out to people. Now, marketing could be as simple as conversations or early conversations with investors. It could be as complex as a full-on sales funnel to get you to the point of sale. But if you're at the stage where you're having a lot of conversations with people, it can be useful to track them, and HubSpot does have a free version that will allow you to begin understanding who it is that you're talking to and share those conversations across with people. I'm just going to show you, because it's here, a quick little video. It is a promotion that HubSpot has here, but I think it's pretty fun. And it'll get across the idea of what HubSpot does. So let me hit play here. Should come up. Yeah. And this will help you understand a bit better what it is that a CRM is and what it is that a CRM does. Don't worry, it is not too long. as a brief overview, it just kind of shows that it is managing potential customers, which customers is a broadly used term. You can actually just look at it as managing the people who you are communicating with, but also there are a few other things that you would be able to do with either HubSpot or any other customer relationship management platform. I'll recommend that you have a look yourself, look up CRM and see what is out there, but also it helps you with marketing campaigns and things like that, or sending emails. If you want to keep track of your communications up to date, it can help you with that. So the last thing I want to mention is Colin has been nice enough to put a few other recommendations in the chat, so for the sake of this video, I'm just going to read them off. Microsoft Notes is something that's surprisingly good once you get into it. He uses it a lot now. WhatsApp works for small teams, but it can get cluttered for big teams. I know I've experienced that as well. And yeah, he said he's going to put them in the comments, so if you're watching this video afterwards, they will be in the comments down below this video. So thank you guys for tuning in, watching this episode of Tangent TV. What I'll say is tomorrow, Thursday the 7th, we will have Shreya Patar come on to talk about her experience for our storytelling session, our storytelling series. So in the storytelling series, she will be talking about her experience doing her experience doing copywriting and other things like that in that space, about how telling stories has helped her, and she has a bit of experience engaging with Tangent, so we might talk to her a little bit about that. And then after that, on Friday, if you would like to come back, I will have the final day of Collaboration Week. I am keeping that as a bit of a surprise, so do come back on Friday, and I will see you all then. Thanks for joining in today, guys, and I will see you next time.